to the Captain's Quadrant, where we trek across space and time to talk about all the wonderful things and some of the terrible things in Star Trek, as we are in the Agony booth. Ladies and gentlemen, we are over the moon and excited to introduce today's special guests, Stephanie and Edwin from Trek Long Island.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Welcome, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Excellent, excellent. And also a very special returning guest, Annie, our Admiral. She's returned.
Yay. Thanks for having me.
And this week we have Trip the Light Fanatic and Explode.
Fanatic.
I this is smaller and my vision's not that good.
That says Trip the Light Fantastic. And
Yes,
then
yes.
explode.
And then explode, yes.
You killed his clever pun.
I did kill his clever pun. I probably should put my glasses on, but anyway.
It's okay. It was more killing my pun that way was more mercy than Brandon Braga and Rick Berman gave to Trip in the first place.
Oh, he puts the shades on. He is throwing shade. And of course, we have our returning buddy, my initial co-host, VHS Jace. Where have you been?
Oh, guys, yeah, look, thanks for welcoming me back.
Of course, always with open arms.
To be honest with you, the reason I wasn't on last week, I needed a break. I needed a me day.
Okay.
Just something for me. So I'm going to just show you what I was up to. You know, in the morning, I started out with wrestling the clock, as we all do down in Australia.
Yeah, it's every Monday.
That was good. By lunchtime, I got in a fight with a kangaroo. Again, unfortunately, he won that one.
Oh, wow.
And then at the end of the day, I got to spend some time with a koala. Absolutely terrifying.
Oh, my goodness. The drop
Funny
bears
enough,
got
that's
him.
the same expression I had
Why do you
watching
look
this
more
episode
scared
too.
with the
koala
koala than anything else? That's what I want to know.
They're terrifying. If you actually live here with koalas, I've got a koala out the back at the moment. And
Oh.
I just look up at it and sound like and go,
Ooh.
Wait, they free roam? I thought you guys like siphoned them off in an area or something.
no. They are the dominant species down here.
Wow.
We all obey our
Don't you know the
koalas.
Prime Minister's a koala now?
Well, I know Trek has the great koala, so I
Exactly.
All hail the
Yeah.
great koala.
Oh, hell,
That's
the
right.
great koala.
Now, I don't know. A koala does look like the kind of animal where you would hold it and take cute pictures, but the whole time he'd be leaning over to your ear going, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your koala
Absolutely.
just said he's going to kill me. Oh, don't be that. Look at his cute little face.
Yeah, that's what I did for the day. I probably should have applied myself to learn better Photoshop skills, but that's what I did.
I lost 60 pounds in 1 month by using Photoshop.
Yes. All right. So, what are we here for? We are here for a very special episode of Star Trek. Probably, without question, one of the most argumentative causing episodes of Star Trek. We are talking about Star Trek Enterprise. These are the Voyages. Yes, these are the Voyages. Season 4, episode 22. In 2370, Commander William T. Riker is trying to clear his mind and relives the last mission of the first Enterprise on the holodeck.
Hey, you know, as I said, don't feel bad. You're not screwing up as bad as Berman and Braga when they did this episode.
Yes. All right, let us say hello to who's in the chat, including Space Mom herself, my own mother, Virginia.
Aw.
Hi, Space
Aw.
Mom.
Hi.
Hi,
And she
Mom.
says hello to our guests.
Hello.
She's polite like that. That's where I learned my manners. She also taught me how to read. And she's very excited to see the Jasons. And she's wondering about the choice maneuvers
I
by
hope
the
not,
koala.
because they've all got chlamydia, and I'd
Yeah.
rather avoid that.
Yeah.
I'd have a lot of explaining to do to the wife.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Our
Whispering in
good
your ear,
friend
say my name, say my name.
Nita is here
Lovely
with
Nita.
us. The lovely Nita. We've got some
Hi, Nita.
exciting things coming down the pike with Nita, and we'll tell you more about that later. Our friend Aaron Sugar here is here, aka commercial break 4 of Pegasus.
100%.
Yes. All right, let us get into our first segment. I still, these clips are great.
Such a dramatic scene, but like I said, the only thing I could watch was like, that is just a centimeter away from being TVMA.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah, it
The
is.
worst part about these bumpers, I actually ruin the episodes now, don't I? Every time you're going to watch one of these episodes,
We ruin every episode we
Yeah,
talk
we do.
about.
Every
It's
That's the point,
fine.
really. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah.
So
All right.
before we get into the segment, though, I think I would love Stephanie and Edwin to be able
Yes,
to
please.
chat about what they're up to.
Yeah.
So we're doing this convention, this science fiction convention that just happens to have a lot of Star Trek guests. It's called Trek Long Island. We are doing this on May 20th and 21st of 2023 on Long Island at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. If you'd like to know who our guests are, I can give you a list. I'm going to let you know who we have announced. We are announcing another guest tomorrow. I'm not allowed to say it, but as of now, our headliners are Doug Jones.
Woo!
Oh,
We got
That's
Odette
huge.
Pierre.
nice.
The Odadmiral. That's what that here he's called now.
Dad,
Admiral. Yeah.
The
That's
Odadmiral.
right.
We got Evan Evagora,
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
nice.
Raven Daughter,
Wow.
Wow.
Excellent.
Isa Briones.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you got some names.
Yeah.
Yeah, no joke.
We got Sandy Gimple. If you know Sandy, Salt Vampire.
Oh, no
Oh,
way.
wow.
That's
That's
amazing.
And
awesome.
explosion. And
Also
explosion.
Yes,
Mhm.
also
Yeah.
Collusion. Tanya Lamani. Tanya Lamani played Kara. She was the belly dancer.
Wolf
with-
in the Fold, who was apparently killed by Scotty.
Oh,
She will
wow.
be coming to a photo shoot with the dress, with the belly dancing
How
outfit.
cool.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
she looks really good. Really good in it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We
That's
have
amazing.
got Fumzile Stiole. Edwin, can you explain her name, who she is on the show? My brain
She
is.
plays the general. I cannot pronounce her last name, but in
Yeah.
last season of Star Trek Discovery, there was the general from Earth who was going to
yes.
team up with Booker and the crazy
Yeah.
scientist to go and destroy the species 10C.
Oh,
And she
yes.
was originally
yeah.
going to join them, and then she decided not to and did the right thing. And she's coming along, and I believe this is going to be her
First-
first convention.
Sure is.
Nice.
First
Exciting
convention.
for her.
Yeah.
We have voice actor Bonnie Gordon. She's the voice of the Protostar coming, and she'll
In
be.
Star
having-
Trek Trilogy.
Fun.
She's doing a
Ah.
lot for us.
Well,
But
But Steph, she doesn't just do the voice of the Protostar. She voiced a character. She voices several characters throughout the show.
she was
and,
she was just recently. She was
yeah,
wasn't she
she-
a Trill?
In the the
Yes.
finale opposite Kate Mulgrew, she was a character that set
Yes.
Captain Admiral Janeway free from the brig.
Wow.
And,
wow.
and she also
Yeah, I know exactly
does the voices when they do like the sort of blocking and read through. She does the voices of all the crew before they then replace it with the
Oh,
other
how fun.
actors.
All right.
Oh, neat.
So I guess we
Wow.
can say very quickly at the convention, besides being part of a big performance we're doing there, she's also going to be doing a children's programming. She'll be reading
Aw.
Rob Perlman's book, The Prodigy, that came out a couple of days ago. It's finally released, and she's going to be doing all the voices.
How
Nice.
that's
great.
wonderful.
That's so fun.
And talking of authors, we have Rob Perlman himself there, who will be talking about his books. He's written the Book of Grudge.
Yes.
Oh, I
That's
have
right.
that book.
Christmas book, Trek the
The
Halls.
Hall.
That's right.
We also have best-selling Star Trek author and other author Michael Jan Friedman is going to be there in
nice.
person
Wow.
signing.
Wow.
Mike currently has a Kickstarter out, so check it out on our webpage. You'll see he's launching a book of short stories. It's doing quite well. And we have John
John Peel.
Peel, who's written a couple of Star Trek novels and a whole host of Doctor Who and other
Mhm.
television tie-ins.
He wrote Objective Bejor. If you read that one, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Here There Be Dragons, which is among the first
Mhm.
of the few TNG
Mhm,
novels that
mhm.
came out, plus the young adult ones.
Uh-huh.
Alan Howarth, we have coming, who did the sound design for Star Treks 1 through 4, and he's also
Ooh.
worked in collaboration with
Wow.
John Carpenter on themes for They Live and The Thing.
Oh, that's
Wow,
really
that's-
great.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
And
you guys have an incredible.
Yeah, this is a
cast
lot.
of
I can't wait to
characters
go because I'm going. And
coming. I'm gonna have to
and-
get on a plane.
yeah,
Jay
and joining.
we have Leonard Nimoy, one of Leonard Nimoy's close personal friends, Bonnie Moss, who has a 35-year friendship with him. She's coming on and is doing a talk with photos that have never before seen. I mean, she did a
Wow.
practice with me, and I'm like, holy moly! I couldn't believe some of
Oh.
the photos she had from Leonard's life, and
Wow.
it's an amazing talk. And she also will be interviewing another guest who's coming in virtually, and that is Michael Westmore,
Yeah, I
makeup
was waiting.
artist.
Oh.
So
Wow.
cool.
Mike doesn't travel much anymore, but he is delighted to join us via Zoom and do a Q&A and an interview with Bonnie. And he's going to talk about his work on 90s Trek plus all of the other stuff he's done, and his family indeed is like, you know, Hollywood royalty when it comes to like makeup and effects. So
Okay.
Wow.
That
We are not
sounds,
done.
it
We're not
sounds incredible.
done getting guests. We have more coming.
Wow.
And yeah,
Yeah.
there's still several more announcements
Yep.
to make, and there will be representation from so far have
Strange New
Discovery.
Worlds.
We have Discovery, Prodigy, and Picard, and the original series, and we're also going to be having representation from
the
Strange New
movies
World
and Strange New Worlds.
and the
Oh,
movie,
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
and I believe also TNG. And there will be a couple more guests coming in virtually that
Mhm.
were guest stars in TNG.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We are.
Wow.
So the
Sounds
Pop
epic.
Culture Coalition,
Yeah.
they're a great group. They're bringing
Yeah.
in some virtual guests for us. And
Amazing.
if you ever heard of the Pop Culture Coalition, they're an organization that fights bullying through curriculum and education. And they're going to have a table there. They're going to be talking on some panels, and they're going to bring in a couple of guests virtually. They're fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Great. Wow.
That's
I think
brilliant.
So much goodness.
I think just very, very briefly, if we're talking too much, please tell us.
No,
Not at
no,
all.
I'm fascinated. I'm
we're
like,
here. This is. the
I'm
point of
ruining the
having
fact that I'm on the other side of the planet.
So come on over. I hear you have a
May.
vacation.
There you
I
go.
was just going to say, in addition to all of the Star Trek actors, writers, musicians, voice artists, and so on, in addition to the range of guests we have coming there, we also have, as Steph mentioned, I believe, a science fact panel track.
Wow.
And we have got scientists coming in from NASA. There's one of our scientists worked on the Hubble telescope. Another works on exoplanets and Mars exploration.
Wow.
We have
Little
author
science.
Francis French coming in via Zoom. Many are coming in virtually because they can't get away to come to the
Yeah.
event, and some
Yeah.
are coming in person. And they are going to be talking about a variety of things about astronomy, the solar system, what would life look like on other planets, drug therapies in development in microgravity, a whole track of science fact on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. And we also have Zarina Salido coming in, who is the president of an organization called Taking Up Space, which empowers Native American girls in STEM.
Wow.
Such that girls can go from the reservation every summer to a science camp for multiple weeks and gain
wonderful.
experience and
Amazing.
grounding in science and technology. So she's coming to talk about taking up space.
And there's a
Wow.
few
Nice.
organizations that we are supporting, Taking Up Space being one of the organizations, but another organization, I'm on the website, so I say it right. The 1 in 6 is an organization that it's the mission of this organization to help men who have had unwanted or abusive sexual experiences. And for every ticket we're going to be selling starting on the January 1st, we're taking $1 of it and sending it to the organization. So if we do
Oh,
sell
great.
$3,000, it'll all go to them, the $2,000.
Wow, that's
Trevor
great.
Project as well. We'll do something at the event for the Trevor Project. I'm not so sure what yet. And then Edwin, the animal is.
Buddy's Healing Paws. It's a charity. It was set up by Rick Worthy, who was the alpha vampire in Supernatural. He was in The Magicians, the main cast member of the show The Magicians, and he's been in the Battlestar Galactica, the Sci-Fi Channel version.
I
He's
love that
been
version.
in Star Trek. He was in TNG and Enterprise. He was a Zindi. I think he was a sloth Zindi, actually.
Ooh.
Mm.
And Rick ran this charity. It's named after his dog Buddy, and it's basically to help raise funds to support people because pet insurance is lousy,
Yeah.
and many
It is.
people are in very difficult circumstances with their pets. So Buddy's Healing Paws, they go around to the conventions. They frequent Rhode Island Comic Con. They're going to be at 90s Con in Hartford, Connecticut on March 18th and 19th. 17th, 18th, 19th, and they raise money for this very worthwhile charity. They have a fundraiser on Instagram right now, Buddy's Healing Paws, and we're going to be supporting them.
It was very
Wow.
important for us, isn't only just having a convention, but also having something where we could reach out and help the communities. I'm a librarian by trade, and that's my life, is to help people for free, helping people get what they need, free access. So I chose Trek because the diversity and the inclusion that's included in Trek. It just embraces everything that my group, Library for the Kind, if you look them up, Library for the Kind is hosting the event. It's we promote and celebrate children's literature that promote literacy that has to do with LGBT youth, diversity, inclusion. And so it opened my eyes to wanting to do a convention, and Trek is exactly on board of what I believe in. And that's where we're at. And that's what you're going to find. Like, me and Edwin aren't going on Caribbean cruises at the end of this. We're going to.
Oh, not like your Congress, so your congressional. Yeah, I get that. I got that joke. Yeah.
We're not even going out on a day trip to New York City.
I think, Edwin, though, I do think that at the end of the convention, we should also get bean burritos at Taco Bell. I do think.
Yeah,
I think that's we should do that. But everything's going to either back to the convention so we can have another one. But also, we want to help all these groups that I've mentioned.
Excellent.
And also, Stephanie mentioned about helping people in need and being kind. And as I've told her, I'm in very desperate need of several highly collectible Star Trek action figures, and I'm hoping that she's going to help me get those as an actor.
Hey, listen, we bought a few actors that you need the autographs, so don't.
There you go.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. All right, so
we'll get into the show.
Yeah.
Hey, so what did we just watch? Edwin, let us hear from you and how you feel about this episode. These are the Voyages.
So, I can tell you how I felt when I originally watched it. I kind of it was, for me, the last episode of Enterprise was the one prior. And this was, I watched this, and I have to confess, I don't like TNG. I mean, I enjoy it as a show, but it's not my track.
Wow.
It's not my track. I love original series. I love Deep Space Nine. I love Discovery, Strange New Worlds. I've never cared much for TNG.
Wow.
And I quite liked Enterprise. I didn't like it when it first aired, but then I rewatched it. I'm like, it works really well when you rewatch it, especially season 4. So when they put Riker and Troy in the very last episode, I was like, oh.
You double checked out.
Yeah. So I'm like, really? They have to, they can't send this show out on its own strengths. They have to use them as a crutch. And I quite like Riker, but Troy is my least favorite character. And so the fact that they dragged her back as well, I was like, oh my God. And I think, having rewatched it yesterday, it wasn't quite as bad as I remember, but I've had about 17 years to calm down. But it's I think had this episode have aired mid-season for sweeps, people might have been more forgiving and gone, oh look, it's Troy and Riker, isn't that cool? And isn't that a novel idea? I think what sucked for this is they chose to do it for the last episode of Enterprise, and they were trying to wrap up the whole franchise,
right?
Which was the point of it. But to me, it just felt like an episode of TNG. And that, I think it did the cast of Enterprise a great disservice. The actual Enterprise parts, aside from killing off Trip, which was completely pointless, the actual Enterprise parts of it were very good. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah,
and I've always liked, I've liked the Enterprise cast.
Yeah,
so
I found it very interesting that most of the episode for TNG side was him hanging out cooking.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, so they're turning Star Trek chef. like, this really worked on Voyager. Why don't we just do that
Yeah.
here and
Yeah.
make it for Enterprise? Yeah. All right, Admiral Annie, what did you feel? What did we just watch?
Yeah. For me, the biggest ick of this episode, I guess, was the pacing, going back and forth between Troy and Riker, and I'm gonna go hang out in the holodeck. Did you get to this part yet? Like, I don't know. That just did not work for me. When I remember also watching this episode as a teenager, when Star Trek was when Enterprise was on, was it UPN, I think, or Spike TV or whatever?
It was UPN.
UPN, yeah.
Yep. I remember watching that episode and thinking, wait, was Riker a chef on the Enterprise? Isn't it like a couple hundred years? Like, I didn't get it. Like, I didn't understand. And then rewatching that, I was like, oh, I get it now. Wow. That's embarrassing. But I just remember just being so confused. And then a little nitpick, right? Vulcans are probably my favorite race. T'Pol is like so emotional, and it just strikes me as like very weird in this episode. The whole like, will you miss me thing between her and Trip, kind of weird. She's talking like a human, like there's lots of contractions and things like that. Just kind of, it felt like a disconnect from how the character usually is played. So that was just kind of a nitpick, I guess. Yeah.
I kind of had the feeling that Jolene Blaylock was just done at this point.
Yeah.
That was my impression.
She jumped the shark.
Yeah.
I also was annoyed that they ruined, and I'm just going to put my little bits in. I'm not going to have a whole exposition to make this go a little quicker. But I also found it annoying that they gave away that Trip was going to die in that episode by going, oh, what a shame he's not going to make it. It was like, wow. Hey,
What?
really? I was like, who wrote this? And my voice goes that high when that happens.
Wondering what that was.
So, unbelievable. All right, VHS Chase, what did you think? What did we just
look, I mean, I think unsurprisingly so, I'm as frustrated as most people who saw this the first time. But I have a bit of a theory around this. We both know that, Brannon Braga and Rick Berman co-wrote this episode. And I think, honestly, at this point, with all due respect, because they created some of the greatest Trek, I think creatively they were spent at this point. And they were having issues for a few years. Even in the last few seasons of Voyager, was very hit and miss.
Yeah.
So this is what I believe. They got to a point where they're going, all right, we're going to write a finale. And they've come up with this idea, a new idea for them. And they've gotten excited around that. And they've gone, all right, this sounds really cool. How clever is this? We'll write this, and we'll do this, and we'll encapsulate the whole thing. So for them, even on the page, I could see it might have gone, wow, this is different. But it wasn't right for those characters, and it wasn't right for the show. Like Edward said, if this was a one-off halfway through the season, say episode 11 or something, and here's this nifty little gimmick, that's fine. But it is, unfortunately, for most of the fan base, I think everyone's just really perplexed about this episode, and it really was a missed opportunity. And even at the end of it, where they do that last little montage of all the Enterprises, I got frustrated at that, because I'm going, well, yeah, you're celebrating the captains of the Enterprise, but you're also dismissing two other massive shows that drove most of Star Trek in the 90s.
Yeah.
Voyager and Deep Space.
Right.
Yep.
So a lot of things that they did, including the death of Trip, I think was, wow, he's the heart of the show.
Yeah.
And this is how you've treated him. And it should have been emotional. It should have been weighted. But it really did not feel like that, because you are constantly being dragged out of the scene by going, it's a hologram, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
very frustrating.
It was
I just wanted to ask real quick, like, so did anyone go back and watch Pegasus? Because I was going to do that, and then I didn't get around to it.
I had only just recently seen it about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I
so
saw
it's
it.
very fresh in my mind.
What did he get? What did Riker get from watching the hologram that helped him make his decision? Can anyone shed any light on that for me?
Absolutely nothing.
I was going to say.
No. Look, I went and rewatched Pegasus.
Yeah.
And the whole episode of Enterprise was about Riker trying to come up with, should I disobey orders and tell Captain Picard? And then he decides, yes, I'm going to disobey orders. I'm going to tell Captain Picard. I'm going to come clean. If you watch Pegasus, that's not what happens.
Yeah.
He is forced to tell Picard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, the point
Wasn't a
of a
choice.
gun and a court martial, it's like, oh, by the way, this is what's going on. Sorry. And Pegasus is low-key one of my favorite episodes of TNG.
It's
It was a
great
very cool
episode.
concept.
I loved it. I thought
Yeah.
it was one of the most.
It was good.
I thought it was one of the most. What's the word I'm looking for? Tense episodes they've ever done.
Yeah.
And
That's what-
I liked that they, showed that Starfleet was kind of a flawed organization at that point, because they really had never touched on that before.
Yeah.
I
breaking
liked the
wall.
conflict between characters, because Star Trek really didn't do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so I loved that episode. And whenever I first saw this one, I was flabbergasted. I was like, first of all, you're turning the finale of Enterprise into a B plot of an episode that had aired 11 years before.
Yep.
And secondly, you're not even paying attention to the continuity in the episode that you're referencing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like what they did with Flashback for Voyager, though, isn't it? They killed off Mr. Valtane, yet he's alive and well at the end of Star Trek 6.
Yeah.
So it's just lazy
Yeah.
writing.
It
Yeah.
was. I don't even think they went back and rewatched.
Again, I just think they were so fixated with this neat idea
Yeah.
that they didn't really think about the consequences of it.
Yeah.
I
Here's
agree.
the other thing about the episode that also fails. Isn't this the only Star Trek series since the animated series that didn't get a double episode finale?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
So
Yeah.
you're tying up a show that's been running 4 years in 45 minutes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
with
Yeah.
15 minutes being chewed up with Riker and Troy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta
I
say,
almost-
so I couldn't get through Enterprise at all. That's why I'm not talking here. I just can't get through it. I got to season 2. I just couldn't do it. Now I never
Very
want to
common.
go through it. Is that a
Mm.
problem? I know I never want to watch it. But I was like, maybe I'll push myself. Is it worth pushing myself? Should I just
I
not?
think so. Just treat
Yeah, I
season
mean-
21 as the finale, not 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stop at 21.
Just
I-
Yeah.
Enterprise
Get on your little
took-
ship and stop.
Yeah, it took about 2 years for I wouldn't even say 2 years. I say about a year and a half for it to get going.
Okay.
And then they really hit their stride.
Oh, they did.
I thought the third
Zindi.
season was fantastic.
Yeah.
The
so
fourth
good,
season
yeah.
was great.
Yeah.
I honestly think that if Enterprise had been given a 5th, 6th, and 7th season, that we would be remembering it as fondly as
Really?
Voyager, maybe even
Yeah.
TNG, especially with some of the ideas that they had that they were going
Yeah.
to
I would
play with
say,
in the future.
Like with their fourth, if their fourth season had have been their first, it would have gone 7 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The
No
fourth
question.
season was incredible. Like I know friends of mine in England that had given up watching it, and I got to like season 4, and I'd given up. I stopped halfway through season 2. Then I came back and I watched season 3, and I thought, oh, that's an improvement. Then I got season 4, and I'm like, wow, this is what I wanted all along. After
Right.
after they wrapped up the Time War, like. And they got to the next episode. That for me is when it really began. And that fourth season, except for the last episode, that fourth season was incredible.
Mm.
You know?
I just couldn't get over how full of themselves the humans are. Just like, oh, we're so smart, and you Vulcans are stupid. You know nothing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just couldn't do it. I'm like, oh my god, what is wrong with you people? You know nothing. You're new.
I did like when they first introduced the Vulcans. First time I saw, I liked the idea that they not really mates here at this point. They're not
Yeah.
good friends as humans and Vulcans. You know, there's a lot of disdain from the Vulcans towards the. And I always thought that was an interesting take to introduce them in that. Because the other time we've seen the Vulcans, like that first contact moment, you know,
Yeah.
from the movie,
Yeah.
first
Right.
contact,
As the Vulcans,
which
just
implies
looking
that
back,
they're best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not.
I think
Yeah.
the Vulcans think back like, wow, those humans were jerks, and now they always think we're jerks. And now I understand why the Vulcans treat us like that.
I love that.
All right, Trip. The light, fantastic, and
You can
exploded.
do it.
Yeah, you got that. Yeah. You get it. You get it.
It's so small, man. It's like,
I know. There's a lot of us today.
and then you had to get to long, like, anyway. Go
well,
ahead.
you know, I live to make your life a living hell. That's it.
The other thing
So
is,
good at
don't- just put on your glasses.
yeah.
So, my impression of this episode is that I've had almost 20 years to get over it, and I still haven't. This episode still just frustrates and angers me on behalf of all of the Enterprise crew members, all of the cast, everyone who poured their heart and their soul into the show, just saying we just want to do a decent show. And then Berman and Braga, and I don't badmouth Berman and Braga a lot, but I'm kind of like VHSJs. I think that they were pretty much creatively spent by this point. I don't think that
they've been doing
I don't think that they set out to make a bad episode. As a matter of fact, if you look at interviews, both of them profusely say, we had good intentions, it turned out badly, and if we knew it was going to turn out this way, we wouldn't have done it. But what makes me upset is that Berman and Braga had stayed out of the writing room for almost an entire season by this point. They let Manny Cotto and all of these other writers come in and create these fantastic stories, really give Enterprise legs, and then swoop in after, UPN was folding. So I mean, even if the ratings had been better, I don't think that Enterprise unfortunately would have continued in any case.
But they just channels.
They just swoop in, do this and then stick their finger in an Enterprise's ear going, hey, remember us? We own you. And there's almost, to me, there's almost, and I don't know, it could be me, but there's almost a air of vindictiveness to it, to this whole episode. It's almost like they have this vindictive attitude towards the show and towards the fans. Again, it could just be me, but everything from the way that the actors were treated, the way that the show was treated, and taking the most beloved character and just killing him in the most useless, stupid way possible. It almost seemed like a big middle finger to the fans. Like, how dare you not watch this show? Look what we're going to do now.
I think, though, they've always given the middle finger to the shows they don't like. Like, they their attitude to the original series. I mean, look, they killed Kirk in Generations, and that was a bad film. And then when we got First Contact, for me, they ruined what was otherwise a great film with Zefram Cochrane. Was nothing like the Zefram Cochrane from Metamorphosis, which is like one of my favorite episodes. And it's like, and then Deep Space Nine, they left it alone, thank God. So that became the best of 90s Trek. But they sort of treated it like the red-haired stepchild. And it's like they beloved TNG and Voyager, and Voyager just became, in its later seasons, one huge reset button. No, let's blow up the ship and reset it at the end.
For me, I reckon they completely diminished the Borg by the end of it. Which was a powerful, scary villain.
And they made it
that
like
episode from TNG when we were introduced to them.
Best of both worlds.
So what is Borg children, Borg aunts and uncles, and all this weird stuff happening with it. So
it's like what they did with the Smurfs. You just didn't take the Smurfs seriously when all the children appeared, right?
All right. So I'm going to go into our room because we have somebody, a very special commenter who is a special interviewee, and that is Michael C.W. Chan from Star Trek Discovery. He says Doug is the best, and
he would know that.
He would know that because he met him.
He knows him.
Yes. So be sure to check out that interview. It's available now.
I regret not being a part of that interview.
Yeah. We should see what Michael's doing on May 20th and 21st. Come and join the party, Mike.
Come on down, from Canada. And then he says, wow, you guys have quite the lineup. And then Geek Filter says, Bonnie is my friend.
Aw.
That's nice.
So nice.
Yeah. So we got some hellos. And then, yes, big surprise. Nita will be joining me on the way to Star Trek Long Island. The both of us will be there. So we'll see you in person. And we will find you. So Geek Filter's been sick. Just so you know, he's in a cold. And Nita wishes you well.
Feel better.
I feel like we're reading other people's texts right now.
Yeah, we're really kind of in somebody else's phone. Oh, what's going on? Hey Joe, I reckon we've already done the next segment, which is why would you do that? I think we talked about that. So how about we throw to a commercial break and we move?
Let's do that. Let's go to commercial. Give my eyes a rest.
That sounds good. Let's do it.
In a distant corner of our galaxy, an invincible alliance has been formed.
Engage! Let's go!
Jack in the Box and the new Paramount motion picture Star Trek Generations team up to give you a free Star Trek Generations movie collector's cup when you galaxy-size any Supreme Value combo. For just 39 cents more, beam up to bigger fries, a larger drink. Collect all 4 limited edition cups. It's a stellar deal for just 39 cents more, only at Jack in the Box.
I love the way that Guinan
Damn, I
gives
wanna
the
get
side
those.
eye to
I
that
know.
Jack in the Box cube, like, Borg? Oh,
Edwin, I thought you were going to turn around and have them.
some ranch
There they are.
bacon fries,
I-
please.
I've got the Pizza Hut ones that they brought out in England with the Romulan ship and the
Yeah.
communicator.
Oh,
but
cool.
I don't have
Cool.
those.
I actually, sad to say, I bought one off eBay because
Nice.
I am a huge fan of Patrick Stewart, so I had to. I was like,
Accessible,
oh, I
yeah,
want
yeah.
that cup.
Patrick Stewart, why are you showing my butt in every episode?
Yeah. But unfortunately, it did not make the move to New Jersey. So, oh well.
Aw.
I
Yeah.
had the Malibu Comics Deep Space Nine collector cups from Circle K.
Oh wow.
And I put them in a box. I packed them up very lovingly, opened the box about 3 years later, and they had literally crushed down to nothing.
Oh
And I
wow.
have no
Oh.
idea what crushed them either. I think it was just the weight of not being
Star
on
Wars
display.
fan, perhaps.
Wow.
Perhaps. I don't know.
Well, I have to say, everyone thought the Enterprise was destroyed over the skies of Genesis, but no, my arse destroyed it the other day because I was dismantling my Christmas tree. I put my Star Trek tree topper on the sideboard.
you
I
got the
turned
new
to
one
lift
from-
the ornaments, whack, on the floor,
Oh, no.
smash.
Oh,
So
Well,
I
you
had
know.
to walk off to a quiet room, and then once I'd calmed down, I ordered another one for next
Well,
year.
you know, the Enterprise D was destroyed over Viridian, and yours was destroyed by Uranus.
That's right.
there you go. What is it, Jay? So
And that's why he's on the show, ladies and
Trick,
gentlemen.
we have a
There you
stand-up
go.
comedy
You can
show at
leave
our
now, you can
convention
drop the
late
mic.
night.
Yeah, there you go. Coming from Texas. There we go. All right.
Redeeming features, Captain?
Yes, indeed. I was just going to say.
It looks like gold. Tastes like gold.
It is gold.
You know what? I have my glasses on. I just noticed. He has like a little thing on his head. I don't know. I should probably wear my glasses more often.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Is there any
man.
fun things about? Can I talk about a redeeming feature about this?
Yeah, I have one too. So, but go ahead, Jace. You go first.
Yeah.
You're a good
It was
man.
about, I think, 43-minute mark and something like that, right when the credits finished. That was
great.
definitely a redeeming feature of this episode. Seeing that final credit and going, that's over. Thank God. No, look, again, there's something there with this storyline. It's just such in the wrong place.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could have done this again. There are ideas. I like the idea of kind of crossing the streams and bringing in characters and all that. But you can't forgive execution, can you? So
No.
look, I tried to come up with a redeeming feature. I got nothing. Move on.
All right, I'll give you mine really quick. It's two big things. The best looking version of the Enterprise D on television and Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I was
of
going to
course.
say
Yes,
Jeffrey
sure.
I
Combs,
didn't even
yeah.
need to watch
Bravo.
the episode to know Jeffrey Combs. Of course, he's the best.
Well,
Yeah.
You know, like I said,
He's
at one point or
amazing.
another, we're all going to
Yeah.
go to sleep tonight and then look in the mirror. Somebody's going to yell cut, and then we're all going to realize we were all played by Jeffrey Combs.
By the way, do you think they did a dirty on Riker with that chef's outfit, though? I mean, like, he's on the pudgy side there for Riker, isn't he?
No, they gave him a girdle. You can see by the bottom there.
Well,
that
you guys did
Yeah.
know who they wanted to get to play the Enterprise chef before this episode, right?
Yeah.
It was
Oh.
Shatner. They were going
Yeah.
to get Shatner to play the chef.
Oh, that's
What?
crazy. Is that accurate?
Wasn't
Yes.
it Judith and Garfield Stevens? They went to the producers with this whole lovely Mirror Universe story that eventually became In a Mirror Darkly, but it was originally going to have Shatner as
Oh.
Tiberius, the Mirror
Yes.
Universe. And they went with this
Wow.
idea, and then I think Berman and Braga came back with, well, we were going to have him be the chef. And I'm like, yeah, because that would have really worked. you know?
Yeah, that,
And I think Shatner pretty much was like, "You want me to do what? I've already cooked in Generations. I ain't doing that again."
Yeah. And you remember at this time, Shatner's on Boston Legal. and
Yeah.
He is on fire at that.
yeah, it
point.
was the
He
biggest
is-
time of his career.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
big for him, that show. It was winning
Yeah.
Emmys and all that type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
you
Annie,
go.
any redeeming features before we head to?
Because you're the probably biggest Enterprise fan amongst this group.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually I love Enterprise, and I
Yeah.
think that's why this episode just does not sit well with me because it's so unlike every other episode. Gosh, I did enjoy having all the captains recite "These are the voyages," that whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're missing Cisco and they were missing Janeway. So
Yeah.
I
it's
mean,
like-
you got halfway there and then you didn't go the whole way. So I thought it was disappointing too. But I guess that's kind of my redeeming quality. I mean, really, this episode did not sit well with me. So
My redeeming quality is
There you
that
go.
I thought that the TNG sets were replicated quite nicely. And to me, it was comforting to see, even in this very
the 10 forward. in
bad
that.
situation,
yeah.
10 forward, I thought it was very clever the way they did it, was that they just made a corner and they just like CG put, Marina Sirtis and Jonathan Frakes.
Frakes,
I don't know.
Because all those sets would have been destroyed at that point.
Oh, yeah.
The
those
only
were-
set,
Yeah.
the only set that was not destroyed that they actually had on hand to basically unpack and put back together was the Enterprise D conference lounge.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
wow.
if you look at the
Because it's just some
door,
chairs anyway.
if you look
Right.
at the door in the background, you will actually see there's these two weird parallel lines that go down the door because they had repurposed those doors for the Enterprise E. And so they just quickly painted over the door, but did not fill in those lines. And so doors have these weird lines in them.
Wow.
But
That's crazy,
I
isn't it?
found the
Wow.
reproductions of the sets comforting. It was great nostalgia, even having Brent Spiner make a vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a
Very
redeeming
nice.
feature.
That's a
Absolutely.
redeeming spot.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the more Brent Spiner, the better, I say.
Always.
I'm gonna go back a little bit and say there's one thing about this episode that kind of creeped me out, and that is after Riker talks to T'Pol. He freezes the program after she says something comforting,
Oh yeah.
and then he kisses her on the cheek and says thank you, and I'm like, that's a
Yeah.
bit gross.
a little bit
That was
problematic.
weird.
That is non-consensual intimate
Yes.
contact, Riker. We've talked about this. That's why we've had those meetings on the Enterprise. We like to pretend it's not about you, but it has been about you. Don't stick it in everything you see.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I was
General
getting
Order
Geordi
2.
the Forge vibes from that moment.
Yes.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. Keep these horn dogs off the holodeck.
Right?
Hey,
All right.
Captain. Should we do it?
Isn't Edwin's?
Oh, sorry, Edwin. Yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm so
What?
keen for one of my favorite segments. I'm like,
Yeah, I
everyone
know.
just get out of the way. I wanna do
You mean
this.
redeeming features?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Redeeming
yeah.
features.
If I had to pick a redeeming feature, it's the sets of Enterprise NX-01, and it's the way they've got all those panels in the background with the flashing lights, and it's starting. You can see it starting to head towards the original series.
I've noticed that.
And-
Good.
And I like that, and it's like it seems like, especially in season 4, that like when Enterprise first started, it was this dull gray. It was
Yeah.
kind of like meant
Yeah.
to be an upgraded Apollo command module type NASA
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Had submarine
And-
vibes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had like I mean even with like when Troy looks down like the periscope thing,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you go,
The
and this
viewfinder,
is the thing that made me laugh is like Riker went, "Oh yeah, Kirk's ship had one too," and I'm like, why did he need to say that? It's like it just that seemed. I mean, it was nice. It was a nice nostalgic nod, but it didn't really serve anything other than fan service.
Yeah.
So, but I liked how it was headed. The sets were heading towards that.
I thought that he said that for Troy's benefit, because doesn't she say, "Oh, all these museum ships, I get these all confused," and then she sits down there and he's like, "Oh, Kirk's ship had that," almost like, I don't know, I thought maybe that was a nod to that.
Yeah,
okay.
it could have been.
I don't
I
know.
did. It kind of, you brought up something too about like this is something we didn't talk about, the 6-year time jump,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how kind of that really didn't feel materialized properly to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you know
so much-
it's not big enough gap where you're going to have to put makeup on anyone.
Right.
It's not
Right.
that. But is that now? I'm thinking, is that why DePaul? Are they insinuating DePaul that 6 years later she is becoming more emotional? She's becoming more human because she spent more time with the humans. Perhaps,
Possible.
but yeah, I mean, I'm stretching at this point.
Yeah.
But see,
Yeah.
that is one of the biggest bugbears you brought up. Her behavior and her facial expressions, everything she was doing seems so against everything else she'd been doing in that series to that point.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go on, I just want to throw to one comment, if you don't mind, and that is Aaron Sugar's comment, because I agree with this. Dean Stockwell should have been the chef.
Yes, but
Oh.
he had already guest
Yeah.
starred though.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah.
Love
R.I.P.
Dean Stock-
Dean Stockwell. We miss you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, Jace.
I'm gonna, because of time, we're gonna move straight to the Wheel of Agony.
Oh. Dun-dun-dun.
Oh,
So
my
dramatic,
God.
isn't it?
Very dramatic.
Oh, my
Very
God.
dramatic. Here we go.
See, I'm
You're ready for-
apprehensive because I know it can get worse.
No, it's gonna get worse.
It's
I'm,
gonna get
I'm
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at that. and that's
Yeah,
just-
we know what's
Absolutely.
coming. We know what's
We
coming.
know what's
Oh,
coming.
no.
So
Oh yeah. All right,
I'm
let's
gonna
spin
get
it.
I mean,
positive
there's chances
thoughts.
of
I'm
landing
gonna,
a-
I'm gonna go for like I don't know the Magics of Megas 2. I think that would be a fun one.
I would love to do an animated series
Me
episode.
too.
We haven't
Me
done
too.
one yet, so I'm
Yeah.
really hoping. Yeah.
It's gonna be Code of Honor, guys.
Absolutely.
No,
There's
think
no
positive.
way.
Think happy thoughts. Think happy,
Happy
thoughts.
Well, let's find out. Here we go. We click the wheel. There we go. Wait for a
This
few
is already
seconds.
better than last week.
Oh man.
Oh, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna press it now.
Code of Honor!
Oh.
It is
Oh,
official.
no.
I told you.
Oh no, it's everybody's favorite.
My favorite Code of Honor.
Everybody's favorite.
That's
So we've
it.
finally done it, guys.
We got it.
finally hit on. Yeah.
I
Everyone's
My favorite Code of Honor.
hate you so
a
much.
week long now.
No.
That's gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough. It's been
It's like we
tough.
played Russian roulette all these months, and finally we got the bullet.
Yeah.
When half the wheel was Code of Honor, what did you expect?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. That's why I was like, well, the law of averages dictates that undoubtedly we'll be watching Code of Honor next week.
But I tell you what, guys, it does now give us an opportunity to because we've now landed off Code of Honor. We're going to fill all those spaces.
Yeah.
So it'll be an opportunity. We'll put it out to our audience. What are some of the episodes we haven't done? We haven't had on the wheel.
You're gonna put
I
like
think it's
5
in the works.
encounter at far points on there, aren't you?
No, man.
Look, I could just fill the whole wheel with season 1 of TNG. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'll even argue about conspiracy because I think that thing is awful. But
Oh, wow.
Yeah, conspiracy's pretty bad.
We got to do the
I'm
storytellers.
upset Jace now.
Storytellers has to be
That's
on there.
the only good episode in the first season, as far as I'm concerned.
It
Wow.
doesn't hold up
Only
well,
one.
Jace. I've got to say, it doesn't. I watched it recently. It's
It's
I was-
bad, but it's still like I love it. I love those old monster. Come on, I'm the guy who was like, yeah, Ator was actually pretty good.
yes,
yeah.
that is correct. That is correct.
The giant spider.
Yeah, we do another show, guys, so they understand. We do another show called the VHS Vault, where we go
Yeah.
back and watch random movies from the 80s. We landed on this Italian American sword and sorcery film called Ator the Fighting Eagle. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It is the most bizarre thing you'll ever watch. So-
Yeah, it's very
and of
bizarre.
course, Jason here, the other Jason, he loved it.
I did. I thought it was fun. This is silly. I love it. It's got everything. It's got sword, sorcery, a little bit of incest. It's great.
Oh.
So it's the aftermath, I suppose, isn't it, Kat?
Indeed.
Now, why don't you go back to your quarters? I'll be along shortly to say hello.
You know, with my glasses on, I'm realizing, wow, they did a really great job on that makeup for.
Yeah.
And you can ask Mike Westmore when you come to Trek Long Island.
Yeah, I will. I will. What did you use for the? You know.
Yeah.
No, it's well, you know, I mean, Enterprise now. Do you think? I think you mentioned it before, Edwin. It's found a new life on streaming, right?
Yes.
Well, I think this show, unfortunately, was such, especially in the 2000s, it was like the thing you didn't talk about, really, wasn't it? Like in the late 2000s, anyway.
Yeah.
I found. But it's great that at least got another life. You know, Scott Bakula came out just recently the other day and said,
I was just going to say
he's open to coming back.
Yeah.
As Archer, and I think there would be a good opportunity to have him at least in an episode.
Absolutely.
I think the thing for me with it was that, like, when I watched it the first time, I like they were doing that whole time war thing, temporal Cold War.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the point of that? It's more of this time travel BS that we had throughout the last few seasons of Voyager. That's not Star Trek, you know. That's Doctor Who. It's time travel, and it's like
looking at you, Picard season 2.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at that. Yeah.
It's all time travel, and it's like they kept, like, I guess they kept sort of doing things that blatantly flaunted what we already knew. Like, and the Vulcans weren't right, and it was like it just seemed making like a stigma out of the mind meld. And I think when they got, like, they tried to reset it with Xindi, and I'm thinking to myself, this would have been perfect for this to be the Romulans. This could have been the Earth-Romulan war. And instead they wasted it on the Xindi. And I liked it. I did like it. But then when we got to season 4 and Judy and Gar and Manny Koto took over, that for me is when it kicked off, and they retconned the whole Vulcan situation, and they did it in such a way that it made perfect sense. So then I wasn't angry watching Enterprise like I was during season 2. And when I went back and rewatched it like on a box set from beginning to end, it works really, really well, except for the last episode.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of tragedy in my mind when I think of Enterprise, because it does feel like a show of missed opportunities.
Right. Yeah.
And as we know, the worst thing is we saw glimpses of greatness, which makes it even more that, you know, that it didn't end well, and, you know, season 1 was a real struggle to get through, and all that. So yeah, but again, I'll stand by what I said earlier. I think at that point the biggest problem Star Trek made was by the end of the 90s, Bergman should have been gone. Like, he should have either, and no disrespect, the guy's a great man, but I think that's with the Enterprise, he should have introduced it and then stepped away very quickly. And the first season, by halfway through, like you said, as soon as you had new writers come in, it had life.
Right.
But I also think like, you're going to remember, he also made the last 2 massive Star Trek films that came out were critical and box office failures.
Correct.
With Insurrection and
Nemesis, yeah.
So I think there's probably a little bit of fear around it too, trying, especially them coming into this last episode of, we've got to, you know, bring all the goodness back. We want, you know, because from a ratings point of view, from a critical point of view, Star Trek have been declining since 99.
Yeah.
You know.
Ooh. All right. Well,
someone say something, because I don't want to end on a bummer note.
I mean, the good thing is we did have Star Trek. The bad thing is the way it ended was quite the
trying, all right? I'll give you points for trying.
But the one thing I wanted to ask, especially Edwin and Jason, Texas, I had heard a rumor that they had planned on furthering the seasons, and then that would be a sort of prototype ship that was going to kind of bridge the gap between the Constitution class and the original NX. Did I read that wrong, or is
the NX refit was supposedly a concept that if they had gotten a 5th season, they were going to try to introduce, and it was basically the NX with a secondary hull. Yeah. And if you watched the 2nd season of Picard very closely, at one point, little Jean-Luc is actually playing with an Eagle Moss version of it. Yep. I have it in the next room. I just don't want to get up and like run over there and grab one.
It was Doug Drexler designed it, like
Yeah.
the as you said, Jason, the NX it's just come up in the thing, the NX refit, and he talks
Mhm.
about
Yeah.
that a lot online. And the other thing, I was at a charity dinner, and Judy and Gar were there. This is just after, I think it was like 2006. And I was talking with them, and I said, like, you guys really like helped. You reinvented Enterprise, and I just was so sad it was cancelled because it was really going in the direction it should have been.
Yeah.
And Judy was telling me about all of these things they had planned for the next season. She was talking about like that city from the Cloud
Stratos, yes.
from the
Yes,
Cloud
Stratos.
Minders. We were supposed to go there, like before, at a time before it was in the Cloud
Oh.
Minders. And oh god, I remember her mentioning that, and there was going to be more about, I think, that Vulcan child or something, Trip and
Oh,
and
Like Trip into
Elizabeth?
Paul's. Yeah.
yeah, Trip into Paul. There was going to be more
Yeah.
about more follow up from that episode. It was called
Ooh.
Demons, the penultimate episode, or was it Terra Firma? It was something.
Yeah, I
Terra
think
Prime, I think.
Terra
yeah.
Prime, yeah.
Terra
Terra
Prime
Prime,
and
sorry, Terra
Demons. It was a
Prime, yeah.
two-part episode. Terra Prime
Yeah,
and
Terra
Demons.
Prime.
That's right. Yeah, it was that final two-part. There was supposed to be elements of that they were going to follow up on. And she's telling me all this, and I'm like, and it didn't go.
Yeah, that mentioned sad.
My favorite bit was that they were planning on making Shran a regular, and he was going to
Yeah.
be a part of the crew. And I don't know how
That
true
would've
this
been
was. I've
amazing.
heard Russell T Davies mention it at one point, but there were talks between Paramount and the BBC to do a Doctor Who crossover in the 5th season. And that would have been during Eccleston's run.
I was going to say that would have been.
No, that would
Yeah.
have
We
been
need
amazing.
graphic
So
novels.
I think of that, and I just
Yeah.
think that would have either been the worst thing ever, or it would have been fantastic.
The graphic novels, I have some at the library, and they don't really go out that much. They're not that
Yeah.
popular, but some people really like them.
Yes,
That's
yes.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So here we go. We need Shran as a regular.
I
Yeah.
agree. He would have been great.
Would
Yeah.
have been great.
He would have had to have called him Captain Pinkskin.
That's right.
Pink's- Interesting note. Doug also references the SS
Bonaventure.
Bonaventure. Yeah, from the
Bonaventure, yeah.
TAS original for the refit design.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the Andorians in Enterprise, they had their little antennas that moved around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Really
That's the
nice.
one thing I want to know is how they did that. It's got to be. I
It was
reckon there's
probably
some sort
air
of wire
hoses or
that-
something.
with their hands.
Yeah, it's
because-
something.
Yeah.
They had like
Yeah.
some motor or something, because I think Jeffrey Coombs was telling us at one convention, like, it used to get really hot.
Oh,
So they
okay.
could film for so long, but it would get really hot, so you'd see all the sweat on the makeup, and they had to like film the scene.
Oh,
my gosh.
So
wow.
does
I
that mean
remember-
someone had a controller controlling the movement?
Yeah,
They did
Yeah.
a great job.
Oh.
It had to be because there were scenes where he would say things and those antennae would react accordingly
Yeah. It was
to what his anger or whether he was frustrated or something like that.
My
Yeah.
favorite
Just
Martian,
Shran,
eat your heart
basically,
out.
that's what-
That was something that I loved about Enterprise was the Andorians, because
Yeah.
all respect to Discovery and Strange New Worlds, I don't think they've ever done the Andorians as well as Enterprise did.
yeah,
yeah, they did get them right.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Steph,
Ah.
how far did you get with Enterprise? Did you start it?
I believe I got into the middle of the second season, I believe. And that's it.
Oh, right on the
That's-
that's right on the precipice.
Yeah,
with
the middle of the
stars.
second
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
is tough, but
Yeah.
whenever you
Yeah.
hit episodes like Regeneration, where they bring back the Borg and they actually make them scary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
a
yeah.
fantastic
Okay.
episode.
Really
Well,
good.
And I will not watch the last episode. That's
Yes.
what I learned from
Okay,
this.
yeah, don't watch the
No,
last
actually,
episode.
Don't
because
watch
you
it.
haven't, you're gonna have to watch
I
it.
have to. Can I start with that?
You have to-
I don't
Well,
believe
then-
in spreading misery.
Can't criticize something if you haven't watched it.
Yeah.
That's true. But you can treat it like the Star Wars Holiday Special. You know, it is canon, but
Okay.
it is pushed into the side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
There
guys.
is there. Before
sorry.
we go, there's one thing that someone mentions for an episode for the wheel. Have you done?
Oh no,
I feel.
No, but it's gonna be added now.
No,
Yeah,
no,
we're gonna add that.
Even
One. Thank you,
Based on
Geekville.
Jason's reaction is why I'm putting it on. the
Yeah,
wheel.
definitely.
because we
must have done
needed
Sub
another
Rosa.
failed Geordie romance.
Yeah.
oh, that is
You must
bad,
have done
yeah.
Sub Rosa though, right?
No,
No,
we
we
haven't.
haven't done it, but it will be added.
Oh yeah.
We'll be able to-
Oh yeah.
Not the horny ghost episode.
Oh
The
no.
horny
Yeah.
ghost
Yeah, the
episode.
horny
That was
ghost
awful.
Horny ghost
That was
episode.
awful. Yeah. All right, Jace. Are we going
Um,
into it?
Oh no, we're just gonna say, yeah. Well, Stephanie and Edwin, hey, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
this
you for
week.
having
Are we
Absolutely.
doing
Thank
you.
stupid Star Trek
Before we
questions?
go, I want you to remind everyone about the con and what's happening.
Yes.
The convention is called Trek Long Island. It is happening on May 20th and 21st of 2023. You can buy your passes now, and our special Q pass is going on sale on Saturday. That's our VIP pass. Some of our guests, Doug Jones, Oded Fier. I'm trying not to say one that I didn't announce yet. Raven. Edwin, help me out.
Oh God, Pumzale Sitole, Raven Dowder,
Evan
Sandy
Evagora.
Gimple, Tanya Lamani,
Lisa Briones.
Evan
So
Evagora.
many wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I go to your website here? I've just got your website
Yeah.
up
Yeah,
here.
there I am. See?
Yep, there we are.
There
And
we
you've
are.
got
Now we
everything
can
there.
see everybody
You're
right
about-
there. There,
Doug
there.
Jones.
Look at me, cute.
Hey.
I can't wait to meet him. Oh,
I
Ted.
know.
Oh, look at
Ah,
this.
look cute.
Wow.
Oh, Space
Come on.
Legolas. Yes.
Yeah, Space
Yeah.
Legolas. That's the nickname we gave him. Yeah, we did that back in the day.
We did that a bit. Yeah, that was a bit on the. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Dodge,
yeah.
Soji,
Dodge,
Citra, and
Soji. Yeah.
Core.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gimple. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
and yes, and we've got Migo Toys are our sponsor, and so you can get your Migo Salt Vampire signed by Sandy, and you can get your Migo Saru signed by Doug Jones.
Amazing.
That
Ooh,
is
that's
so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, I know
I
what I'm
would
I have
doing.
go
my
just
Amigo
based on
Saru
that.
right over there, actually.
Yeah. All right.
Fantastic, guys. It sounds like it's going to be an incredible event. And yeah, it's got some incredible, yeah.
Just want to
incredible.
say,
That's
if
all I
you-
can think of.
To all your listeners out there or viewers, like if you're thinking about coming or you're on the fence about coming, please come. You're going to have a great
Please.
time. We've got a great program track, not just celebs. We've got like vendors, we've got science track, we've got podcasters,
We got a fantastic children's
Entertainment,
track. Bring all your
stand-up.
kids.
songs, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we need this to do well because we want to make it a yearly event because we're already planning guests for next year, and there's going to be huge.
It's
It's going to
time
be
for
like
the East Coast to have a convention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look at our
Yeah.
we will be
convention.
getting big TNG, Voyager, Prodigy.
I've already been getting calls for next year,
Yeah.
and I want to say
That's
yes,
so
but I
Thank
cool.
you,
can't
Will.
say yes until I know.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'll be there in person, and so won't Nita. So look out for it. We'll be looking forward to meeting you, Edwin and
I'm
Stephanie.
going to try to
Oh,
separate
right.
myself in
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah.
luggage.
Do
That's what I
it.
can do.
Yeah. All right, Jace. Are you
That's
doing
it. We're going to wrap it up.
Are you going to do the question?
No, we'll leave that for next week.
All right. All right. So never mind on that.
Sorry, I've changed halfway through the producers just changed the
yeah,
show.
what a producer, ladies and gentlemen. Just
I think
they're
we've
leaving
been
us to
going
dry.
75 hours at this point, so I
Yeah,
thought it was
yeah,
a good
yeah.
time to
Just
probably will.
rules there. All right, friends. It was great to have you guys on
Thank you
here.
so
It was
much
so
for
good
having
to
us.
see you in person. Edwin, great to meet you today.
Great to meet you.
And
Yes.
of course, my standard crew. It's always good to be with you. And we
Yeah.
will see you next week. But this is not going to be another Agony booth. This is going to be a special episode.
That's right.
Yes,
We're
the
doing
special adults only edition.
Adults only edition. So make sure
A
you join
little
us.
bit naughty.
A little bit, a little
Yes.
bit. We're gonna get into all the fun, dated, fully functional things in Tasha Yar. So get ready next
Yeah.
week. It's gonna be a lot of
Think
fun.
about it, guys. Sex and Star Trek are synonymous. Right? It's always been a very sexually
Always.
like infused show from its inception. So
That's a good idea
we
for a
will-
panel at the
Those
convention.
lizards, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
about those lizards.
Aaron Sugar put it properly. Oh my.
Oh my.
Yes, yes. All right. So
Brilliant.
until then, live long and prosper.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you,
luck across,
everybody.
guys. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Joe, can you actually shut the stream down for me? There we go.